Hello YouTube and welcome back. If this is your first time here, I am Dr. Stock, and on this channel I'm looking through the markets to find opportunities that are worth capitalizing on. I'm here to share them with you in each of these videos. Real quick before we get started, have you heard the joke about the kitty who heard too many puns? Oh. Never mind. I can't tell you right meow. There's a clause in his contract that says that if he's feline furious, I can't tell it. I can't tell you how many takes that took to get that right. I went over and over and over it. I'd actually have to go back and count. As a matter of fact, do me a favor. If you know how many cat puns that was, put them down in the comments. Go back, count them up, and let me know. With that said, I do want to get right on to business. In this video, I will be featuring the Moo app, and later on, I will tell you how I can get up to 16 free stocks. In the meantime, I do want to jump right into the chart. So let me bring that down and pop up this. So the first stock is Moderna. And so for Moderna, they've actually been, if we zoom out, on a long-term downtrend. So they really had that run up during COVID and everything. And then there's a lot of doubt that goes into this right now of their profitability, given that the COVID vaccines and COVID itself has kind of cooled off and everything. And I don't know the ins and outs of Moderna. This is more of a technical play. I did look a little bit into it, and I got their investor presentation. Their financials are one of the last things that they put up, and that would explain a lot of what they have here, that even it seems like they themselves don't really know how they feel about what they have going forward. They have a lot of products in their product pipeline. There's several of them that are already commercialized, and then there's a whole bunch more that are in trials. So I expect that there could be volatility for this. So I did say in one of my previous videos that this is one of those companies that you could possibly short, and I showed this little descending triangle that we have, and possibly that we break down through the long-term support that we had that goes all the way back to, it looks like March of 2021. Arguably, you could say even that we just maybe pierced through it just a little bit going back into December of 2020, and then had a huge uptrend from there. And then since that time, we've tested and retested that support. And more recently, we've actually broken out of that descending triangle. However, we didn't really break the 50-day, and that's kind of what we're looking for if this thing's going to move in a bullish direction. And every time that we try, it seems like we come back down and possibly retesting that support. So are we going to break through support and fall through the floor on this one? I don't know. Are we going to finally break the 50 days solidly and put in a bullish reversal on this? Once again, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We do have a few things to look at here. One is that we have support so far historically has held, and it's possible that it does keep on holding, that there's something about that price at about $117 that we fail to break through that support. And for those of you who are long on Moderna, that's a good thing, and it's possibly a load up zone if you're bullish on Moderna, and if you believe that this is the bottom that they're going to put in. We do have a little bit of momentum building. We're still in bearish territory. We've peekabooed up into bullish territory, and it is possible that if we cross back into it that we then start breaking the 50-day, and then that could give us a signal that we're finally going to start moving up. But you can see ever since it broke down through its 50-day, and then it crashed down through its 200-day, and then it tried to make that rally. Well, around the time that we got the death cross, it looked like the 200-day held out as resistance, and then traded below the 50-day, resist, and a whole bunch of resistance recently, but we are squeezing down on that. So if I bring down the moving averages, and I'll delete off that descending triangle that we have here, I can always redraw it on later if I need to, and I bring up the Bollinger Bands. Here's something else to consider when we look at this. So you can see how wide these Bollinger Bands were. With the volatility, you get larger gaps with the different prices that you have, with the way the Bollinger Bands work with standard deviations and this mean that you have here in the middle. The fact that it is narrowing so much leads me to believe we're squeezing down on support. We have resistance coming from overhead. We have the Bollinger Bands narrowing on that. This thing's going to break in either direction soon, and that's why I wanted to put it on this video. So I hope that that's something that's informative for you guys. So options wise, and you like buying options, if you go with a long straddle, time is against you. First of all, if that breakout is going to happen, we don't know when it's going to happen. So if we went with a long straddle, somewhere around its current price of $120 being that strike price. So same strike price, same expiration date, and however you buy that call, you buy that put, right at 120 strike, and hopefully it moves in large enough direction soon enough that you're able to profit off of it. Now, if you do believe that you know what direction that's going to be, if you believe that support is going to hold, you can always go with that call side of things. If you believe that support is going to break, you can go with the put side of things. And then there's also the idea of selling options as well, depending on what you believe is going to happen. And this isn't a video based on options, but if you guys want to hear more about options, just let me know down in the comments what sort of need or desire there is for more talk about options on this channel, and I'll do that. So for Moderna, I think there's significant opportunity here. I don't know if it's to the downside or to the upside, but there are ways that you can play both of them, and we'll see. And like I said, that momentum build that we have and the fact that support has held leads me to believe that there is some sort of possibility that we have seen a bottom in Moderna, and it is possible that we get that bullish reversal coming out of it sometime soon. But there's still, with the 50-day repeatedly acting as resistance for us, there is still that chance that that squeeze happens to push us down through support, and that is a pretty far fall from there. So we'll just have to watch and see on that one. And let me know what you think about it down in the comments. All right, on to Meta. Now, let me bring the Bollinger Bands down. We'll put the moving averages back up because that's usually what I like to work with when we're looking at this. So Meta, you can see the run that it's been on. I just covered it in my video. I think that was yesterday that I talked about Meta. It may have been several days ago, but it has sold off a little bit. And I think that we're going to close out today somewhere around $300. So I am recording this while the market's open. It's at 10:16 a.m. Eastern time right now as I talk about this. And what we can see is we're currently trading around 299. It's 290. Oh, there it is, 299. It just jumped up there. Now it just jumped back down. But I think that we're going to close around 300. So whatever volatility we get throughout the day, I still think that we get that 300 because it is such a round number that we get that psychological resist support. And you can see that we have danced around it recently. And I think that we're going to settle right there, and it's going to make for a big break either way. 5% in either direction is what I'm calling for. So hopefully you get to see this before the market closes today. That way, if you've done your research and this video helps you to make that sort of informed decision, never financial advice here, just showing the opportunities that I find, then this is another play that if you think it's going to break upward for earnings, that is going to be positive for Meta, then I think that 315 possibly, maybe, depending on how surprising it is, we could hit that 320. So that's 5 to 7% to the upside. And then we also have that same 5 to 7% to the downside. So 285. Maybe we get that 280. We're just going to have to see, but I do believe that it's going to be a fairly large move for us from Meta. They have put out their Threads app, and I checked it out. One of the things I need to work on being here on YouTube and trying to build out my presence is social media and Twitter. Say what you will about Twitter. Twitter, I don't know if it's a better feel because I'm more comfortable because I've seen it longer versus Threads, which I downloaded today to check it out. It's kind of a boring user interface. There's something about Twitter that feels just a little bit more engaging, and maybe it's that you can see the metrics of the engagement right down below it. So you can see how many times it's been liked, how many times it's been retweeted, how many times it's been commented on, and then you also have the, I believe it's the little statistics button on Twitter as well. And I think that's something that could really fill out that Threads app. We're going to have to see what that adoption's like, and maybe we'll get some flavor added to that in the earnings call that Meta talks about Threads itself and sees if it can really overtake parts of Twitter, because it is direct competition with Twitter, but it is integrated with Instagram, which is part of Meta itself. So we'll check that out. The last one that I have for you, as I mentioned, was Intel, and this one, the earnings don't come out until, let me see, today's Wednesday, so Thursday in the after hours, and Meta is also in the after hours. Moderna, I believe, is August the 8th. Don't quote me on that one, but that earnings could be the catalyst that moves Moderna's stock either up or down based on what we hear from them. There's going to be volatility there, and the fact that there hasn't been volatility there leads me even more to believe that there will be sometime soon, and it could be that catalyst, and we could be under 2 weeks away from that. So back to Intel as we look at it, and you can see the bullish channel that they've been on, and we have 1, 2, and then this third touch here, which we broke out of and then quickly ripped right back down through, and then 1, 2, well, that's 1, 2, 3 more. So a whole bunch of touches down here. I'm going to call that all one though. So at least 3 touches, and you can see we did dip down through that, and you can actually draw a third trend line, although I'd like to have 3 touches on that. Right now we only have 2. So for Intel competing the AI space, really with CPUs is what they're after. I know they're going through a lot of restructuring. It's going to cost them a lot of money. And so guidance is going to be huge here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this have a negative bias, that in the short term that we see that drop in their price down to this 50-day that we have, depending on what we get. So we're going to have to see. Right now that 50 days trading just above 32. So the 50-day moving average that we have here, I shouldn't say trading. I should say it is at about 32.30-ish right now. And that's going to change a little bit as the price come out, but not too much because it's based on 50 days average. And so we're going to have to see what that is, because this is just one of those days out of the 50 as it closes. But it is also possible that we break to the upside. So what does that look like? Well, if we hit the top of the channel, that's around 36.30 is what I have here. So $2.20. So that would be about 5 to 7% to the upside. And then if we trade down, it's at 32.30. And so that's just under $2 to the downside from where we're at right now. So I think we have 5 to 7% in either direction for Intel. And for Intel, we'll have to see what happens with their earnings, if they're going to have positive news for us. I think they're a long ways away from really their spend with their research and development paying off. And I think that they're going to talk about that in their earnings. Now, I did tell you that I'd say, hey, get those 16 free stocks from Moomoo. Here's what you do. You sign up using the link that's down in the description. So using my link that you can find down there, you get for a $100 deposit, 5 free stocks and a $50 cash reward. Now, that $50 cash reward also goes for the $1,000 and $5,000 deposits, but you get 15 free stocks. And if it is the $5,000 deposit, you get that free share of Tesla or EXPE. And I got to tell you, over at the Patreon, I put over my Tesla stock price prediction. I also put out my earnings forecast for Tesla. You can find both those over there. Also, my NVIDIA stuff that I put out there. Earnings are August the 23rd, by the way. If you want access to my exclusive content, you can find that over at the Patreon. Link available down in the description, right along with the Moomoo link. So out of the 3 companies with Meta, with Moderna, with Intel, I gotta say, Moderna sort of concerns me from where they're at right now. Now, it is possible for those of you who actually do know the fundamentals behind Moderna. And like I said, I haven't looked into it very much. I know they're going through a rough patch, but that rough patch is where companies find bottom. So if we are at bottom, that could be incredible for Moderna to the upside. If we're not at bottom yet, if it hasn't been found yet, and we're waiting for earnings to really tell us what direction that's going to go, then there's a significant fall from where they're currently at. For you guys who like Moderna, who are bullish on Moderna, maybe you're bearish. And if you have solid information that leads you to feel that way, please go ahead and comment about it. Same thing about Meta. So for Meta, I think it's a coin flip on that one. So again, if I was going to use an options play on that one, I would most definitely go with a long straddle. I'd be in it today, I'd be out of it tomorrow, and then I'm only eating 1 day's worth of time value. And depending on how far out those options are, I think the 18th of August is decent for that one. That's still eating up. I think the theta decay on that one is somewhere around like 35 cents, and that's per 100. So that's $35 off that price. Because remember, it's leveraged, it's at 100 share allotments. So like I said, if you guys want more information on options, please put that down in the comments as well. So for Meta, I think it's a big old coin flip. 315 to 285, or 285 to 315 is where I see that one going. Intel, I think we're around 32 up to, well, I think I said about 36. Let me put it back on the chart here just so I can see. Yeah, just above 32 to just above 36 is where I see it going for Intel. Following their earnings, I am bearish on Intel's earnings. I do think that over the long term, Intel, well, first of all, I believe that they're an incredible company with a lot of staying power. I think they're going to have their work cut out for them to really show themselves over time, to reprove themselves, especially in the AI space, that there is a lot. And right now, NVIDIA's got that favor, and that NVIDIA earnings forecast is available over at the Patreon. You can find that link down in the description. I'm very excited about it. I put a lot of work into it. And for the patrons who are already over there, the community members that I have, I think they'll be very pleased when they go and they look at that and they're able to ask me questions about it. And I even have a video detailing how I constructed it. And it also includes the NVIDIA stock price prediction. And NVIDIA, I did that. It's very favored by the market right now. And I think it is a very incredible company that really does stand to capitalize. And I think that's why it gets the market sweetheart position. Intel just currently doesn't hold that spot. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for sticking around this long. I hope that you enjoyed my content. If you haven't already done so, please, down in the comments, how many puns did you hear? What do you think about Moderna, Meta, Intel? Put that down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Like button if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.